This is the Simpit. I'm your host, Sean Cole, and welcome to today's episode of the Pit Stop for Friday, October 27th. And thank you for being here and being part of the show, being part of the pit crew, and adding your thoughts and opinions on today's sim racing news. And that's what we're here to talk about. Just going through the news, the topics, the big stories in sim racing, what's going on, let you know about new updates to Sims, new products coming out, anything that you might need to know about in the world of sim racing. And again, I want to thank you, the pit crew, for being here. And if you guys have seen any stories, know of anything going on in sim racing, please put it in the chat, let us all know, and maybe it's something that I missed and we can add it to today's show if we can. So always looking for your guys' inputs on and thoughts and comments on everything that we talk about. And you are what really makes the show. And one thing I did mention yesterday, I'm just going to mention it again. Oh, I don't have the gaming link here. Oh, it's the link that I put on Facebook. Give me 1 second to get this link real quick. If you are watching this because you're a subscriber to the YouTube channel, the notification you get takes you to the live show. However, the live show is not the best way to view it. And the reason I say that is we actually started talking about... I'm going to add that link right here. And... whoops, that is not right. Ignore that. Sorry. Let me try that again. Here we go. If you are watching this on the link that comes in on the email, sorry for the clunkiness here. If you're watching it on the email that comes in, then you basically are not seeing the comments before and after the show. If you watch it on the gaming version of the Simpit Live channel, you will see all of the comments before and after the show as well. Honestly, they go 24/7, so I've seen people talking 12 hours after we've done a show. So if you just want to hang out and talk with some sim racers, that's one place you're going to do it, but it's a better way to view the channel. So I did want to mention that. So, let's move on to today's news. And there are a few things to talk about. We can talk about the Simpit channel. I'm very proud of that. We are coming up on 30,000 subscribers. We might even hit it today or over the weekend. So that is very cool. Thank you all for being part of that. And we are growing. We are getting bigger, and we are getting more popular, and we're having more fun than ever doing it. So that's great. Hello, Jody. Glad you could be here live with us as well. Yeah, I've seen that as well, Michael. For some reason, as the YouTube channel creator, I see a slightly different version than what you guys see, which really makes me mad. I'd like to one-to-one see what I am putting out, but I don't actually get to see that at all, which is really unfortunate. So, hey, Stan, everybody's doing great. Well, I can't speak for everyone. I can tell you I'm doing great. Happy Friday to everybody. Friday is always a good day for most people, so I'm glad that it's Friday, and that means we're all heading into a good weekend. So, first up on news is Forza. I talked about this yesterday. They teased this Gymkhana thing. They didn't tell you much about it. Some kind of a trailer. I guess trailer would imply a teaser in its own. And it did come out. I don't know if any of you got a chance to see it, but here, I'm going to play the video with no audio just so you can, get a taste of it. But this was a teaser for just another Gymkhana video. And I love the Gymkhana videos. Don't get me wrong. But I guess with Forza being such a big sponsor of his... they're going to do everything on their end to bring the marketing aspect into it. It is cross-marketing since these, that car is in the game. And, it's kind of integral at this point. But you got to hand it to Ken Block. The guy's not a rally car racer. He's not even on the drifting circuit for the most part. He has made a whole career out of creating Gymkhana. Is it drifting? Yeah, it's the same thing. Is it similar to rally? Well, they use similar cars in many cases. But here's a guy who is one of the most famous motorsport athletes on Earth, I'd have to say. And officially, his main thing isn't his racing effort. So, I think it's cool. I was a little let down that the teaser was for just another Gymkhana video. I was, honestly, as a sim racer, hoping that it had more to do with sim racing and less to do with the real thing. I will say, I love that Mustang that he runs. That thing is a beast, and I love it. Yeah, I mean, it gets a little monotonous at some point. I mean, you can only see a car 360 around an item, and then if you change the item, does that make the 360 different? Whether it's a garbage can or a dump truck that he's doing it around. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some always some classic moments and things that you're like, no way, when you watch it. But it's entertaining. It is what it is, I think, is the best I can put it. Spatial, we talked about the Sparco 383 yesterday, and I guess they're taking pre-orders now. I believe they're shipping in December, and it was $199. I don't have an image, but I can probably pull that up real quick if you give me a moment. We talked about it yesterday. I don't mind going back to it again today. Here's the news story. I did have a better photo yesterday, but if we go back to our center screen. So yeah, here we have the 383, the Sparco 383. And this is a big deal, because I know when that TSXW wheel came out, a lot of people were like, immediately asking, is that wheel rim going to be available for the entire ecosystem or lineup of Thrustmaster wheels? And at the time, the answer was no. And at this point in time, for $199, you can have what looks like, what would be on paper, my favorite wheel for the Thrustmaster lineup. It's 330 millimeters, 13 inches across, full-size, one-to-one replica size. Great button layout. It's a round wheel, which means it's going to work for just about anything. And, you know, in any discipline of racing, I should say. It is rally-inspired, so if you're going for what was their replication, this is the rally wheel that Sparco makes for, I guess, teams that they work with. So that is something that is in the news still, and something we like to know about. And, again, this will probably be my favorite wheel rim from Thrustmaster, is my guess. I love the TSXW wheel rim, but the D shape was a little bit odd. Excuse me. Alright, moving on to iRacing. There's two things, but on this one I'm going to talk about the iRacing side. And, you know, their time attack kind of came into the service, wasn't talked about a little bit, and they did put out a promotional video kind of showing off the time attack. And basically, the reason I'm bringing it up is a lot of people like racing, a lot of people like driving. Not everybody wants to race with others. I've seen the comment or the quote from people that I don't want to ruin somebody else's race. I see that all the time. And I understand it. Gosh, last night, I'm afraid that I screw up everybody else's race. Excuse me. So, time attack is a great opportunity to compete on that racing level. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, John. I forgot to turn the volume down. I added that show so late. Sorry about that. Sorry. I am going to say sorry for such a thing. But if you want to know where you stand against the world, you can do these time attacks. It reminds me of the world's fastest gamer qualifying round for R Factor 2. It was a leaderboard. So, in this case, you can get in there, and they are doing prizes. They're going to have 3 different series running, and there will be prizes to the winners, and I don't know if they're doing random ones, but I know there are prizes. But most importantly, you can see where you stand against others, and you can really perfect your skill. We've talked about Gran Turismo Sport and the driving lessons. It's like, yeah, it's not quite as critical because it's not giving that bronze, silver, gold medal version, but it is giving you that authenticity of a leaderboard, the ability to see where you stand against others, and the way to just find those thousandths of a second sometimes to move up a few spots. So, if you're into iRacing and you haven't, I haven't, it's time to try out Time Attack and just see what it has to offer for everybody. And if it's fun, I'd love your feedback on that as well. A few new people in the audience. Hello, welcome to the show today. Thank you for being part of the pit crew, taking part in today's sim racing news, and I love your guys' thoughts and opinions on what's going on in the sim racing world. You know, funny, Michael, I haven't been using the new UI either, and the other day I was trying to help somebody out get on iRacing, and I realized that we were on totally different versions of the sim at this point. So I need to get on the new UI just to know what it's like and how it works, and honestly, as far behind as I am on reviews of software and everything else in general, I'm so far behind, I would like to kind of do an updated review on iRacing. Excellent. That's great, Tom. That's great, Billy. You're more than welcome. The more the merrier. Next up, Assetto Corsa. Not really news, but with that latest 70th anniversary pack, they keep teasing by creating some wallpaper images. And I don't know what it is, but I can't seem to get images like this when I try to get a screenshot from the game. So that's the reason I'm bringing it up. If you're looking for a quality shot of this incredible 330p4 Ferrari, I'd like to see that on my desktop. That'd be a pretty cool image. So that's about it. I'm just giving a little love to Assetto Corsa because I am a big fan of that 70th pack, which is some phenomenal Ferraris. And you can say what you want about any car manufacturer in the world, but it's hard not to agree that Ferrari is the most iconic car on the planet, I would have to say. Next up, Project Cars 2. Some cool pictures. I just want to show this. This is them. This is actually Pirelli Motorsport using Project Cars 2 at their booth in Formula 1. You can see the guys running a direct drive wheel VR experience. You gotta love that ear-to-ear grin, including, look at everybody watching. It's not just him. Look at everybody else watching him race and how much fun everybody is having. Another thing I'm going to mention is, look at how much wear there is on this wheel. That's a suede wheel. Look at how waxy that one is. Maybe they should be running gloves. That's the downside of a suede wheel, is it's going to get waxy. Jody, I don't know. I have not used... the only thing I ever used was really the prototype of the V1. I do not know. Slobshot, I'm working on some new rig reviews, actually. That's in the works. I'm trying to get some rigs in, some diversity of rigs, just so you guys get a good feeling on everything. I've talked to Next Level. I had a wheel stand, and they asked me not to review it, said they were going to send me a new full rig, which I haven't gotten yet. So as soon as we do, we'll review that as well. Broder, no, I'm not. It was a very personal story. And I mean, I think if you, and I don't want to go too far into this, but I think that if you listen to what Empty Box and Simpit said, that it was also a very personal story. And I'm not saying what they did was right or wrong. I think, you know, if hey, in today's day and age, if somebody wrongs you, you have a right to stand up and say so. That's it, in my opinion. But we all do things our own way. And when it comes to personal stuff, I tend to keep it personal. And so I'll just leave it at that. But I think that there's parallels in those stories. If you look at the two, there's a lot of similarities, and you can draw your own conclusions from there. Swaney, I'm going to do my best to get a bunch of VR in here and start doing that. I've been late on the game. I've played with it. You've seen me drive with it from time to time. As far as full-on review and staying on the cutting edge, I need to get there, including the Samsung VR for the PC that they've now announced. Yeah, I don't think VR is great for streaming, though. Watching me race will not be nearly as cool in VR, I don't think. And, yeah, we did a show with Gamer Muscle talking about VR. That was on a sim tunnel a few weeks ago, about a month ago at this point. Spatial, I think it's suede. It has a certain softness that no synthetic can recreate. But it comes at the cost of higher wear. So, John Hill says he has a story, but he won't tell either. Oh, he has a story on the topic of what I was just talking about. Yeah, a lot of people might have stories. Anyway, okay, back to the news. Sorry about that. And I guess, I mean, there's no denying that Sim Racing Paddock's video yesterday is Sim Racing news. And I'm not going to shed a lot of light. I did see some people bashing William for doing such a thing, and I don't know if I have the same opinion. Here in America, I don't know where it is elsewhere, but there's this weird idea and mentality that, like, don't be a tattletale, and I've never quite understood that. And I'm not go tell on anything and everything anyone's done wrong, but if people don't tell what's been done wrong, then how is everybody else to know that wrong things are going on? It doesn't matter the topic that we're talking about. That's just you know, hey, it's his channel. He can do what he wants, and if you're wronged, how you choose to defend yourself is entirely up to you. All right, end of that topic for the day. I hope that'll do it for you guys, at least on my opinion. You can talk about it all you want, but that's my take on things. So, moving on, Sector 3, there's a sale on the GT3 class pack, which includes Nordschleife. It's 30% off. So, Sector 3 is another one of those sim companies. They're making more and more updates, you know, and they're accelerating their growth curve, we'll call it. So, we can probably expect a lot more out of Sector 3 Studios in the coming months. And that includes maybe some deals on previous content. So, if you want to check that out, you're looking for an excuse, maybe that is the one. This is also on iRacing's page, but I figured I'd post it or talk about it with World's Fastest Gamer, and that is that Freck Schothorst is the latest. We talked about him winning the iRacing competition, and they've been doing these bio videos, building up the competition, which is getting very, very close, and we're going to get to see how the finals play out. So, I think it'll be interesting, you know, and I always talk about taking side bets and doing things like that. I think it'll be interesting to see all of the different finalists and looking at them, watching their bios, listening to their approach, listening to their mentality, and see if we can predict the outcome in advance. Now, again, we don't know exactly how this competition, the final victor, is going to work for McLaren on their simulator team, and this is a pretty big deal, but we still don't know exactly what they're going to do when they get to the UK and actually do this competition. Will it be like Gran Turismo Academy? Are they going to have to run, do obstacle courses, game, drive? We have no idea. Interview process, it'll all be part of it, I'm sure, but we don't know the balance. So anyway, if you want to get to know Freck, here he is, and you can check him out. I hope I'm saying his name right. I think I am. And beyond that, moving on to Risa, 50% discount on all titles and DLC. So if you've been thinking about Automobilista or any of their Brazilian touring car type stuff, get over to Risa, check it out. Quality sim, when you talk about Sim Pizza Poll, which I'll mention maybe for the last time today, Automobilista was the big surprise to me in seeing how strongly it did in a lot of categories. So you might want to check it out now. And beyond that, that is the news, because the next one takes us back to the news I brought up, which was talking about the 383 mod wheel for Thrustmaster. So that pretty much does it for that. Let's move into personal topics or show agenda topics, our topics. Number one, the Sim Tunnel. If you look in the description of this show, there is a link to the Sim Tunnel pizza poll, and that's where we're looking for the best aspect of each aspect of sim racing from each sim. So Sim A does graphics, Sim B does physics, Sim C does the sounds, and if we took them all together and made the perfect recipe, what would our sim look and sound and feel like? Over 420 people have now responded to the poll. I'm going to bring that poll to a close. I was going to bring it to a close tomorrow, but I'm out of town next week. So today's the last time I'm going to talk about it. I'll leave it open for one more week while I'm away, and then when I return, we'll do something with the results as a special show, just so you guys will know what our 400 plus answers equate to. I am looking forward to that show myself, because I think it'll be very interesting to just imagine and wrap your head around what that sim will be like, and hopefully I can demonstrate it in a way that we can get that feeling. So that will be very cool. Other thing I want to talk about, Pitstop map. So we've had people from all over the world. We're adding on average about 10 dots a week just to do where our community is from. Where are you, the pit crew, from? All over the world, as you can see. And I appreciate everybody who's chimed in. Let us know where they're coming from and being part of the pit crew. Thank you very much for that. Michael, I'm a little bit of a gamer as well. I play Sim Coaster. I've been wanting to play some Sim City. I do some shooter games from time to time. I play a ton of World of Warships when I have time. But I am mainly a sim racer. Oh, wow. Newman's Rolex watch for $17 million. That's awesome. 50% off on WRC on Steam in Europe. That's great to hear. Yeah, I love World of Warships. If I could get, you know, another 8 hours in the day, I'd probably spend 3 or 4 of them doing World of Warships. Okay, next topic. Let's talk historic. So last night was our race. What a race it was. If you didn't see it, that stream is up on the Simpit YouTube channel. And it was an incredible race at Fuji. I was so scared before the race, and I kept it together. I had a couple of scary moments, but did very well, had a very fun time. Finished just pouring in sweat because it was that kind of a race. We will redo that race tonight, 6 p.m., and that is on Sim Racing Systems, running Assetto Corsa. We will be at Fuji 1968 in the Ferrari 312/67 version, which is in Assetto Corsa. So if you want to race with us, you'll need Assetto Corsa. You'll need the Ferrari 70th Anniversary DLC. Those are the two things you'll need to buy. You will need a Sim Racing System account, which is free, and you'll need a Race Department account in order to download Fuji 68, which is also free. And you could be racing with us this evening at 6 o'clock. So hopefully you will. If you can't race with us, maybe you'll tune in for tonight's stream. You'll be seeing it from my perspective and how the race plays out. Beyond that, as I've mentioned, actually we'll move into tomorrow. Tomorrow, Sim Tunnel. So tomorrow's Sim Tunnel is going to be real life versus sim racing. Where do they overlap? What are the clear differences that we can't capture from one another? How have we grown? Where will we be in the future? Where is the overlap between everything we can talk to? And I thought it'd be a lot better to get the opinion from somebody with some really good experience. And I didn't want to drag somebody who's been used as a marketing tool over the years, like being paid by the companies to endorse and help out with this sim. I'm not trying to undermine what they do with their affiliations, but I wanted somebody who wasn't really known for like putting their opinion out there, but yet had a vast experience of real life and sim racing. And so Michael Thompson, who's here in the chat, mentioned his buddy Richie Hearn. And if you're a longtime IndyCar fan, you know exactly who Richie Hearn is. He drove one of the most famous race cars, in my opinion, ever to be in IndyCar, and that was the Budweiser car. And so if you watch the Indy 500, you know and remember this car screaming around the racetrack. He did very well at Indy many a time. And since his pro racing career has come to an end, basically, he is now a pretty avid sim racer and does a lot of sim racing. And he takes it very seriously. So tomorrow on the Sim Tunnel, and that'll be at 10 a.m., we're going to be talking live with Richie and talking to him about real-life racing a little bit, talk to him about sim racing, and talk to him about the similarities and differences. I think it should make for a very, very good show. Thank you, Michael. Third place in 1996. So I was always rooting for him. Love that car. I don't know if it was the red. I don't know if it was the Budweiser. I don't even drink much. But still, this was such an iconic car in IndyCar back in the day. So it always stood out to me. So that'll be tomorrow's show. Excuse me. And excellent. We're getting some facts here. We're going to have to ask him about some of those moments as well, Michael. So, other thing I want to talk about. So that's tomorrow's show at 10 o'clock. 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow, Saturday morning. And at the same time, tomorrow will be my last show of the week, and then I will be out of town for the week. Based on your guys' input yesterday, we will do a live stream or 2 or 3 or 5, who knows, from SEMA. I am going to be at SEMA. That's where I'm going to be over the next week, is working with iRacing, working with CXC Simulations at one of the biggest car shows in the entire world, SEMA. It's the North American Aftermarket Products or Parts Show. A lot of cool stuff going on. I don't know how much I'm going to get to see because I will be working the booth and being the ambassador of sim racing, giving people their first exposure to sim racing and hoping that we leave a lasting impression on them. So that'll be my goal when I work these booths, is hopefully getting people's experience so good that they run home and get themselves a wheel, get themselves a sim, and become part of our community. So that will be going on next week, and I'll try to bring you a few streams from the road, and then we will be back next Monday. Not this coming Monday, but a week from Monday is when we'll be back. Business as usual. Only for a week, though, because then I'm leaving town once again, but that should be the last trip out of town for the end of the year. So hopefully you guys will be patient with me being away. Hopefully we'll be able to entertain you a little bit while we're gone. And beyond that, I hope you've enjoyed this week's show. I hope you've enjoyed all the shows we put out this week. And maybe you'll tune in tonight at 6 to watch race number 2 at Fuji, which is going to be crazy. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of the pit crew and an essential element of this daily show. This is the Simpit. I'm Sean Cole. I'll see you on the track.